Hi there, my name is Joel Fountain and I teach drums here at Selkirk College. You're here in my office with me and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the program here and what you'll be studying with me as drummers. Now there's two components to your drum instruction here. There's private lessons with me and there's also laboratories or labs, and the primary purpose of laboratories is to help improve your reading, although there's some historical research and also some style analysis in the laboratory component. But the primary purpose of laboratories is to help improve your reading, and so we'll be working very hard on that in the labs, mostly with the use of syncopation and other types of reading texts. You'll get a lab book that you'll use for that class. And that's a lot of fun, actually. A large part of my history as a musician and drummer is sight reading and working on that. And that can be a challenging thing for young drummers. It does take a lot of mental discipline and focus, and we'll be working on how to include that in your practice as well. But anyone can learn to read. You just have to work at it and be diligent with your study of it every day. And once you learn to read, you can then open up a whole world of possibilities in both in your performance and your playing and your ability to play on different sessions and different styles. So that's one thing you'll work on while you're here. The other part is private lessons with me. A little bit about my background. I went to the University of North Texas, studied with Ed Soph, played in the lab bands there, then toured with Maynard Ferguson, have done lots of large ensemble work and recordings and small ensembles and rock bands and all sorts of stuff. Prior to that, I studied with a really great Canadian teacher named Don Reed, who was a student of Jim Blackley's, who's well known in Canada, taught a lot of Canadian drummers, and Don also studied in New York. I lived there for 20 years playing in shows, studied with Jim Chapin. So my history is kind of combined between the North Texas tradition and also a bit of the Canadian tradition, studying with a student of Jim Blackley's. So my primary focus with you while you're here at school is to give you a solid foundation and skills that I think can help you no matter what style of music or genre or however you wish your trajectory as a drummer to go in your career. So we'll be working from syncopation, but also classic books like Stick Control. There's a lot that we'll be doing there to help build your foundation. Somewhat rudimental, but Stick Control is a little different, and there's lots of various ways of playing Stick Control, both as written or as in swung eighth note type feel. We'll be working on some different grooves and patterns, some from the David Garibaldi book, Future Sounds. We'll be working on, as you progress, some snare drum exercises and ways of interpreting snare drum music, whether it's from Charlie Wilcoxon, perhaps from the Master Studies book by Joe Morello, and also, depending on how far each student gets, some by Fred Albright and Anthony Cerrone from Portraits in Rhythm. A lot of the proficiency requirements here are very dependent on the student's level, but give us a lot of freedom to work at your level and build up the foundations that you need to be successful as a drummer in any genre. So that's exciting for me to have those sort of classic books to work with while you're here, so you can use those as tools in your arsenal for whether you decide to go perhaps to Berkeley or somewhere in New York or North Texas after you leave here, or you just want to continue with your studies. You'll have a good foundation while you're here to build from. So I hope that helps, and I'll do a little instructional video on how to. There's an audition process, and I will do a future video to help walk you through how best to do that. But the instructions on the PDF are very clear. And you can find those on the Selkirk website. So again, my name is Joel Fountain. It's nice to meet you. I look forward to meeting you and look forward to helping you progress in your drumming. Thank you very much.